The streets is a hard place to even stay and just like be in. 1090 Jake has I almost want to say finally, just because the hater in me got exposed for being a rat.
It was inevitable, right?
It was inevitable. And the streets is so hard to maintain not being a rat.
The irony.
So it finally happened. Happened. And
I wonder why it took this long.
Because I think this is because it was under a grievance.
This is like Chris Hansen getting caught for,
Exactly.
Literally.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly. So
crazy.
it's like finally, I guess. Because these people are normally never clean, especially in terms of like street activity. Bro, it's too confusing to be a street nigga. Like,
I don't know too much about it, but I thought it was I thought like he didn't snitch necessarily.
He wrote a grievance or a complaint.
Oh, okay.
But the problem is
like get off my lawn. Like this nigga's on my lawn.
No, a jail complaint. So like he was in jail and he wrote a grievance. But in the grievance, the thing that makes him a snitch is in the grievance. Some other dudes have fought. Somebody like 1090 Jake apparently beat up a 65-year-old man, or 1090 Jake will say they put that beat up on him, but the paperwork says 1090 Jake beat up a 65-year-old man.
So he lied?
Essentially.
You see, that's not even like snitch. I like the Mexican.
No. This is the snitching part. So then there was some other celly that he had.
Where would you go?
I'll bring it back later. I like the Mexican out. Just cut. Y'all hear it later.
But there was some other fight that happened with his celly. He puts the full detail of that fight using people's first and last name in his grievance. So it's like, even though they were already charged or written up for it, it's like, why are you doing so much talking and communicating?
Why are you putting niggas' full names in this report?
All you could have said is there was a incident that happened and this happened, but he had people's first and last name, had a story chronological, MLA format.
But lying though.
MLA format.
I don't know where the lie was. The paperwork says, there's official paperwork that says he beat a 65-year-old man up, but he says that beat up was somebody else and it was never put on him. I don't know.
Is this a reach?
Nigga said MLA format.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny as shit.
But I thought like, he was lying though. Because I don't know. But I was saying though, like, I don't think, I like the Mexican cartel way. Like, there's no snitching over there.
Fuck no.
Because it's the idea.
Niggas died.
That and the idea of that, like, nigga, my enemies are supposed to tell on me. Like, it's snitching. Like, what are you talking about? That's just life.
Bro,
you know what I mean? It's raining. You don't.
Yeah, bro. This whole snitch thing is just like, it's too much, bro. And it's like, it's too much to try to be this nigga and try to be the virtuous. I've never snitched, because it's like, he says that it shouldn't be counted as snitching because it was a grievance. And
why are there no strict definitions when it comes to snitching? Because I've even heard a nigga making a case for T.I. a couple days ago.
Oh, I've seen a couple cases for T.I.
To make it seem like to where, he might not have read it as fucking detailed as niggas say.
Pretty much what they were saying is T.I. got caught with way too much stuff for him to not be doing.
For him to not be doing 1,000 years.
Pretty much. So I don't think there's any like proof or whatever. And then he's had little incidents come out where he put a body or something or a gun on a dead cousin and stuff like that. So it's like.
And then I also heard that like with the gun shit, I don't know if this is true. It might be pseudoscience, but a nigga was saying that 2 guns is like 1 gun where he was at.
I've heard that too.
Something to that degree. So when you would
even if you get caught with 45 guns, you're only getting 1 charge.
You would think on the surface he should go to jail forever for having 40,000 guns, but it's all considered 1 gun,
which makes sense, kind of. Yeah, it pretty much makes sense.
If that's what actually happened.
Yeah,
but you would think that he would make a rap song about that shit.
But it is snitching is weird, and I wonder like, because if you watch like most pirate movies, it's like something about the pirate's code. Yeah. But I wonder if that's a lie too.
Niggas
like
die.
Everything we've been told, it's like lie, street codes, pirate codes.
I think it's a
all
lie,
that shit is a lie.
I believe pirates. Pirates is probably really getting busy.
They had a pirate code.
Because the thing is, you can't you have to kill that nigga now. He's on a ship with you in the middle of the ocean. You don't want to be around him.
I can't even go to sleep around this nigga.
At least
if he's violating the ship.
If you gangbanging in the States, you can go home. You can move neighborhoods. You can get away from this nigga. You got to kill him on the boat.
But it's just the fact that it's just all been a lie. There's no codes. There's no like rules to this shit. No.
It's like
It's
Like
like when
Jack's-
you see. It's like when you see NBA players traveling.
Yeah.
And nobody's saying nothing about it.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what I really hate, because the next like 2 topics are just kind of like about street people and street politics and shit like that. It's like I kind of hate that the niggas, that gangsters and street niggas are on the internet.
Facts.
Because it's really fucking up my allure of like,
Of like what gangster was.
The Lord.
The respect and credibility.
the
you had
respect
for
and credibility. So like it becomes, it's starting to become harder to not initially hear a nigga say street nigga and just be like, you're a fucking idiot then, right? Like,
It's not
should-
cool anymore.
Should you have always done that?
yeah, I should have always done that. But there was still like respectable things. So if niggas weren't actually snitching, right? If you were actually only killing enemies that did something to you, if you were,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Still
It's
doing
like,
shit for your neighborhood.
Yeah, if you
upholding
were
certain
doing shit for your
things.
neighborhood.
Like
if you-
seeing Muslims eat pork. Like you just kind of disappointed in everybody.
I'm kind of disappointed. So
Haram.
it's haram. You
And
know what I'm
everybody
saying?
I've heard who seemed like they've taken the street shit too far and they was real about it, they always say, I'm done with this shit because I just realized niggas ain't real with this shit like I was.
That's
That's
usually how it is.
Literally
Yeah.
every sentiment.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
real though. That's a lot. That's how it is a lot for black gang banging or
Yes.
black gang activity.
Yes.
Because I feel like Hispanic gang activity you can kind of grow old in. I don't know too many people growing old in black gang.
Grow old nigga way of San Quentin nigga. It's only one old gang member and he's like the Spy Kids actor. What's his name? The nigga.
Oh, the nigga who's the actor.
the
I know
nigga-
you're talking about
the Spy Kids uncle. He's the uncle in every Mexican
He's
movie.
he's the Mexican.
He's the only
gangster
gang banger that's old.
That's what I'm saying.
But you know,
bro.
Vince
no
Staples
old
was
Mexican
talking about
gang,
that shit. He used to talk about that shit like, nigga, I got out that shit so quick because I was like the only young nigga really out here. I realized these niggas ain't really doing shit, man. This shit fake.
Yeah.
Nigga, there was like the Hell's Angels got arrested in like Texas for like some bar fight or some shit like that. Nigga, they arrested like 100 Hell's Angels on some Rico shit. Nigga, out of 100 people, nobody snitched. They had to drop the case.
Fire.
It's like
Fire.
that shit don't happen with black gangs. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
They catch a black gang.
Yeah.
Like YSL, we've seen turn into YSL. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. Well, that does niggas. That happens with us too.
I was about to say because we
It's
only
rare
really
as hell, though.
we only really hear about the stories where everybody's telling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
'Cause that shit's
That is
happened
true.
so much, though.
No, that is true. You're right about that.
And except for when Bobby Shmurda and his team stayed solid.
They
But
did.
Exactly.
That is
But
the
that's big- he's
most
a rapper.
that's the most recent case of a group of black people staying solid and of all ages.
Yeah.
Like they were
Yeah.
younger. Like we seen the old niggas snitch way more.
And white people be snitching, man.
They
there has
do.
to-
I'm just saying.
a white
yeah,
gangbanger probably watches this video, like, you know.
grievance is a white word.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, grievance. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It is. I bring it up to that Jake. I'm glad because I forgot. So I don't know how much of this. We're not gonna watch much of this at all or listen to much of this at all.
I don't know
But
where I'm supposed to start because I think this is where you left off watching it.
Yeah,
Is he
that's where I left
explaining
off.
himself right here?
you can go right back to the beginning. So this is a point and shoot video, as y'all know. Point and shoot.
Was that him on the right?
That was 1080 Jake.
No, but on the right. Who was that? Was that point and shoot?
No, he doesn't show his face.
I say he doesn't show us.
You're definitely going to put this on the screen too. 1090. So not 1090 Jake. Point and shoot don't like 1090 Jake.
Clearly.
1090 Jake he's made live videos, like catching him in live videos several times. So this is about to be another bias piece, but I enjoy point and shoot's bias.
Point and shoot is
And
white.
sometimes when you bias, you're still right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Every now and then.
this video, like when 1090 Jake got exposed, he hates 1090 Jake, and he also does a hilarious accent. But
And it's white on white crime.
it's white on white crime.
I
Yeah,
love
white
to
on
see
white
that.
crime really is nice.
hope
But
it's
It really is nice. It's like it's snowing right there.
it really is, bro. But when 1090 Jake got exposed for ratting, he had a video out within 24 hours. When I saw it was 29 minutes, I said, "Oh, this is like like when you're a biased creator, you've been waiting for your
Yeah.
main target to legitimately fall."
Yeah.
He dropped
Your King
50.
Von Dutch.
He dropped a triple double in this video. You know what I'm saying? Like a bias from left to right, but a full scope breakdown. Like
this is a passion project.
yeah,
Like
right, yeah.
everything else he does, it's just work.
Yes,
but this
no,
is
yeah.
what he really wants.
Nigga, when this, I was like, I can't wait for like, well, I don't know. Adam feel like he's been exposed to me, but it's like now I
Yeah.
can't wait for like the next person that he hates to go down, so I can get another one of these. But
Get a
make sure
passion.
they can see this on the screen, though.
Nah, for sure.
But if you can go full screen too.
Absolutely.
Point and shoot.
Man, man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Point and Shoot. It's
I thought that was
1090
him.
Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're gonna be talking about my snitching allegations and how I wrote a statement against another inmate. So this is actually pretty cool. 1090 Jake has been exposed once again. This
pretty
time
cool.
he's not gonna be able to get out of it. He wrote an entire fucking page of information and gave it to the authorities in order to get himself out of solitary confinement, for which, I mean, that was his punishment. So he's trying to get out of his punishment by writing this letter to the authorities. Okay. So this is actually snitching. Okay, there's no way to talk your way out of it this time. I mean, there's a whole handwritten statement signed by Jacob Cherry, and we're going to be going over all of it. It's like Christmas around here. I can't believe that he's been exposed to this extent. This is really ugly for him, you know? I mean, I just can't imagine Jake having a future in hip hop now that he's been exposed for being a serious pussy. And so he's basically just going to have to crawl back under his rock and do his YouTube videos and smash his fists together and entertain his dirty white boys across this nation. But he's not an authority in hip hop anymore. Those days are over. That ship has sailed. And let's look at some clips. Actually, let's get into the clips because I feel like I'm rambling on. And I hope you can understand this is a very exciting time. So let's go to our first clip. This is when Jake went live immediately with Remo after being exposed. And this is his attempt at talking his way out, as we've seen him do in the past. However, we haven't seen this fucking hilarious of a statement written out in handwriting. Okay, perfect grammar. This is nuts. So he went live with Remo, and Remo's like this neutral, non-street, sort of playing dumb. And it's really interesting to me that Jake chose Remo, someone who's not affiliated, a complete civilian, to try to cop this plea to. Why not go live with someone who's actually in politics that can actually break down what you've done? You sad, stinky cheese eating. He was eating cheese spreads in that jail. He was putting so much cheese in that spread, he was fucking loving it. Like a little fucking rat. Okay, so he was actually in there snitching, guys. So let's look at this live, and I want to just, this is how it started out. This is Jake fucking completely freaking out. You're going to hear it in his voice. He really comes out of character. Usually when we see 1090 Jake talking about snitches, he's usually like this. It was at that time that I knew that he snitched because I seen the paperwork. If it's on paperwork, you know what I mean? He's really calm, cool, collected, but not on this video. He actually tries to start out cool and in character, but he breaks character as soon as the heat turns up in the chat. All he sees is rat emojis of all different colors and cheese emojis. I mean, he's really getting fucked with. So his cadence changes. He starts going, how am I supposed to be on paperwork if it was a grievance? Wait until you hear this. This is a different Jake. So this is our first clip. This is going to be Jake nervously trying to explain why what he did is not snitching. And he says that it's because it's a grievance. So you're allowed to snitch as long as it's called a grievance or something like that. I don't know. Let's listen to 1090 Jake explain what
all right, so explain what the difference between a grievance and a statement is, because niggas gonna that's still telling if you write some shit out. You know what I'm saying? So like break that down.
Your statement is gonna be whatever you initially fucking, I think like whenever the shit actually happened. I don't even remember if we wrote a statement or if they just wrote it for us and like forged our name, because we all got cuffed up. Because I was one of the ones that got taken to medical. Because me and Dude both got hit up. And the other two just got beat. And then they tried to say, like, when they beat the out of him, all the shit that they did to his face, they said that I did it.
Yeah.
So a grievance could be anything, bro. Like, you got a sock with a hole in it. You got whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just, a grievance is like a complaint or an appeal or... Like, I don't really know how to put it in civilian terms because they don't really have the same shit.
All right, so Jake is trying to say that what he did was complain about other inmates.
First of all, I had no idea he looked so much like that King of the Hill.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
His kid.
Yeah.
You really gotta hate a nigga to see that.
And I hope that was point and shoots. I hope he thought of that.
I think he did.
That was wonderful.
Because I mean, as you can tell, this is a beautiful. He's putting a masterclass on how to
how to hate a nigga properly.
Yeah, bro,
in a video essay format.
And his marketing was wonderful. It's just like snitching. He told us he was snitching in so many different ways.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
Cheese.
Yeah, dog.
She said he was spreading his cheese all over that paper.
He's making a sound bad.
Name it,
It's the moment. You know what part I'm talking
Like
about?
a
But
rat.
it's the moment when like 1090 J gets out of character when he's on this live stream. He does something that I was like, point and shoot the GOAT at this.
He's the GOAT at doing this impression of this nigga. He can do different. He can do different emotions.
Bro, he's made a fucking 1090 Drake Netflix trailer where it's just he's taking clips and he's doing narration in 1090 Jake imitation voice. I'm like, this nigga is sick, bro.
Yeah.
But he be killing that impression, bro.
How often you gotta watch a nigga to really get his speech pattern down?
I wonder if he does stand-up comedy like on some just like regular shit. Like he does this for fun, but he really like on stage.
He's
like,
really working on sets.
or if he's just like just an internet dude. I don't know.
He definitely got to drink some ginger tea before he pull this shit off.
Yeah.
He's the definition of a hate watcher, though. Like, he watches everything 1090 does, just so he can, like, let him know I don't like
But
this
I
shit.
don't think a grievance is snitching. Like I don't know if it's snitching.
It's snitching to me.
Because even writing to the judge, like, because
Yeah,
I think a
problem-
grievance is about like it's showing the judge your character.
You got to break down what the definition of snitching is.
Yeah.
Because it's a real fluid how they use it and what's
yeah.
considered
Yeah,
snitching.
it is. Which
I think that this is overall considered telling, even though he did it in a grievance format,
Yeah.
because he's listing people who did something and what they did
yeah, for sure.
to
Yeah.
an authority figure. If that is the most basic definition of snitching that you could possibly come up with,
He snitched.
then this nigga told.
But if somebody's lying on him, should he not say anything?
Nah,
You could be like, it's not me.
You can either
But
say
you
it's not-
can't.
you can either
But if the judge reads that, he's gonna be like, "Oh, he's going to jail." This nigga just type, "No, it's not me."
No, there's a difference between
He's going to fuck this.
there's a
thing.
difference between it was some niggas over there fighting in the room when I was sitting down versus the nigga Tom, Jerry.
But if they already have the names of the people and the people that he
you still
named,
put the name on that paperwork though.
That's even more reason to
That's
why.
the crazy
They
part.
already
You put
got
the
the
name on the
names.
paperwork.
Oh, they're gonna be like, oh, it's them. Okay, yeah, we know where they at.
Yeah, so it's like, but there's a
He
yeah.
snitched.
Let's keep watching this because there is one specific part that I definitely don't want to miss.
I tried to do it for him.
That-
I don't know.
That's hilarious. Go ahead, hit the.
10 officers, and he didn't make a police report, so it's not
Skip forward a little
snitching.
bit.
When in fact, complaints are to paint this whole thing as all he did was
Yeah,
write a
right there.
complaint
Try there.
himself so he can get out of solitary, because in solitary you're not allowed to have your commissary, your
I'm waiting for him
canteen,
to,
so
like,
he wants
start
to get
the
out so he can
live
get
stream
back to
thing
them
again.
Cheetos, okay, them cheese balls.
Around and fucking boycotting and tearing shit up.
Here we go.
Anytime something happens with the police. So I said something about 2 other black motherfuckers getting beat by the police. I didn't even get beat. I said something off their face, right?
Yeah.
And I suffered the consequences of
Okay,
that.
so virtue signaling at its finest. He's basically trying to say that he stuck his neck out for other inmates when he didn't have to, and he wasn't a victim, and so he saw his ops getting beat up
Hold
by
on,
the COs,
you
so
can
he
let it
wanted
go.
to report the COs because
You
he
can let it go.
Oh, let it go.
No,
he didn't feel like those his ops should be getting beat like that. That's what he's going with. That's what
Pause
he's
real
spinning
quick.
this into,
Just real-
is that he
This is another thing that a lot of street niggas, it's like, this kind of perplexes them. Is snitching on the cops snitching? Because you remember Tex
Oh,
Stone
yeah.
had that situation where he kept getting robbed by a crooked cop, and he
Yeah.
filed a report against that nigga.
Yeah, I think it is snitching. I think it is snitching.
Because he said,
Nah,
he
bro.
can't
But
whoop
I
his...
don't- but
He
I don't
said that
know.
his caveat is that he can't handle it in a street manner because it's a cop.
Yeah, right.
But this nigga is doing street shit to me.
This is why I like Mexicans, man. They fight fair. You get what I mean?
they're-
Like it's
and
not
they-
snitching.
and they touch police too. That's
Yeah.
another thing to be clear. Yeah.
But they got like the cartel is different.
They have an ecosystem set up.
They
Bro.
have infrastructure. They're,
Yeah.
It's a sovereign nation. That's different between niggas in a neighborhood with a flag.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting, man. I don't know.
I don't, yeah, but
but thank- but
on the
thank-
basis of snitching, it is.
But thank God I don't have to perplex myself. And,
Right,
like,
right.
Yeah.
I don't have to face any of these battles in my day to day.
Right.
And
like,
his point and
fact.
shoot.
you know what I'm saying?
This is a question though. Like he was even talking about why did he call Reno, who's not in the streets? But it's like, can point and shoot? But like point and shoot is calling him a
Civilian.
snitch. He's just like the
For
ultimate. civilian.
sure, for sure.
Like a Sean Strickland type of civilian.
You're
right?
allowed to call out because being a snitch call out is already such an interesting lane that you find yourself in. You know
and
what I'm
can
saying?
you not yell when you're being called a snitch? Who's been called a snitch and hasn't like just ultimately lost it?
Maybe people who didn't actually snitch.
Like who?
Oh, I think there's plenty of people who don't care about snitching.
But I'm
No,
saying,
but he's
like,
saying
how do you-
anybody who gets the accusation, who doesn't respond to
I'm talking
that
about
shit in a
street
loud
dudes
manner?
at least.
in like in an
'Cause it's
angry manner. Who doesn't respond like nigga what? Like what the fuck?
Civilians don't give a fuck.
But exactly.
mean,
like
whoa,
there's only
whoa, Vicky.
the point the one there's only one way to respond to being called a snitch, and that's to be outraged.
Nuh-uh. Or you could do what Whoa Vicky did and get on YouTube and say, hey y'all, I was attacked by Krishan and I filed a police report, and yeah,
Whoa, Vicky
she's a saved woman now.
does not matter.
But you asked though. I'm giving you an example.
She's a
civilian.
But I'm saying like a street nigga.
I think a street
Wigger.
nigga, yeah. I think a street nigga, yeah, is getting online. But a civilian, who gives a fuck? Yeah, I snitch on that nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If since you want to call it that, I've called it, put it in a complaint in, or a grievance. And I'm fucking snitching. Nigga.
Yeah,
You know
street
what I'm
niggas
saying?
seem to like really want to protect the street cred, like big time.
And I kind of
That's
hate
all
how
you have.
I kind of hate how it looks on Boosie. I'm like, nigga, you're too old for this shit.
Yeah.
Like Star said some shit when he was like, when the whole Boosie thing was going down, he was like, Boosie has diabetes. A nigga with diabetes has no business in jail.
Right.
Cut it the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Don't raise your
it's
blood
like,
pressure.
It's like, what are you doing? You need to be living this type of lifestyle that keeps you free and in the clear. You're not even in the right health to be playing with these niggas in jail.
Right.
And you can afford better.
And you can afford better. These niggas is 18 to 35, active as a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Straight muscle.
Yeah.
Burpees.
Yeah, it's like, cut it
And
out,
Boosie,
bro.
old man strength probably ain't kicked in yet. I don't think he gonna get that.
Oh, no, that passed.
Yeah, that passed
That
already.
passed.
But yeah, let's watch this because I think it's coming up soon. It's a beautiful part.
I know exactly what you're talking about too.
He just one day just decided to get involved with an assault, and so the statement that he wrote up before was coerced by the COs, and so now he's going against this. Why didn't he just go against the COs in the first place? I don't understand why now, after 200 and something days, now he's seems like he was crying himself to sleep and he just wanted to get to them Cheetos. You know, that's what's going on here. So for this next clip, 1090 Jake is going to be explaining his definition of snitching, which is everyone's definition of snitching. And I just think it's really important to hear it out of Jake's mouth himself.
They're in the process of being arrested, right? You can't really put this on the level of some of the other snitching stuff that we've talked about,
When you compare
right?
it to the level of other people, you're trying to downgrade what he said, right? But what you can do is try to break down the definition of snitching.
Right.
When two people commit a crime and one person tries to get out of it by placing blame, that's generally what people say is snitching.
All right, so by his own definition, he has snitched. He actually placed blame on other
he didn't even
inmates
say that.
for an assault that he was actually
he
in
pulled that
trouble
out his
for.
ass. He didn't even say that. He said that's generally what people say
Right,
is
right.
snitching. But point and shoes is kind of reaching, but you know,
But he's doing what he does.
hey, you know, I
Slightly.
like it.
Because he wasn't a group of people who did a crime.
No,
but he
wasn't.
did tell on people who did a crime.
For sure.
Which I feel like is a better definition of snitching. It's more encompassing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I thought he told on people that lied on him.
I don't know if they lied on him. I just think he's making it seem like when the police wrote the report up, they had the information incorrect. But it don't really matter.
Yeah.
It was 4 niggas fighting in jail and somebody was talking, or it doesn't really matter. You
So
gotta
he
eat
wasn't snitching. He was just peer reviewing the document.
that. I guess so. I don't know.
Nobody
Nigga
likes
made some annotations.
Right.
Nobody likes the bad part about criminality, which is like snitching. You know
right.
what I mean?
It's such a stressful
like
world to live in.
everybody who's like even mafias snitch probably. Like
Oh,
nigga, they work.
What?
They shake
Nigga,
hands
they
with
all
officers.
snitched on each other. Nigga, all the mafia niggas in
Literally.
New York, they all snitched on each other. all
Like,
of them.
oh my god, they
What's
was
that nigga
tap
name?
dancing.
What's that nigga's name? Michael Francese?
Yeah, I know
This
who you're
nigga's out here
talking about,
on an award tour. He's on.
Yeah.
He's on everything. Telling about all the
Soft
shit.
white
He used to do.
underbelly.
Vlad everywhere.
He gives you
yeah.
80% and then stops right at the last.
He went on Patrick McDavid too, right?
He's going on everything. I seen him on Mike Tyson.
See?
Oh,
Yeah.
Like I seen him everywhere, bro. It's like
Hot box.
telling mob stories. So it's just whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's
I
just what they
mean,
do.
when you have a career, when you is that shit is like being a pro athlete. After you did it, your career is to talk about what you did and
Yeah.
other people doing it now.
Right.
That's the best career trajectory.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see.
Talk
I think
about
we
the
can
game
find
he
this
was in.
part. Hit it.
What we doing
He
here?
was trying to get out of his punishment
forward,
by placing blame on others. Now that he's in trouble, goes to jail for what you said,
like the
or gets
0.5 or
added
something.
time. You know what I
Or
mean?
like,
but
you know,
watch,
the right
listen
era.
to Jake completely change the narrative
That's
on
what I
what
was doing. You
snitching
wanted
is.
to-
Y'all
Right
was
now.
already in jail, so you don't feel like that was snitching though? Like even writing that statement out, like you don't feel like damn, I shouldn't have did that one?
Nah, because it had no effect on nobody.
Y'all was already in jail type shit.
Not only were we already in confinement, we weren't in AC. So AC is before they figure out if you did something. So if I stab you in prison, I go to AC confinement. Then they're gonna try to do their investigation and figure it out. When I go to DR court, they're gonna say, nah, we don't have enough evidence that he stabbed him and let me out. Or they're gonna say, nah, we know you stabbed him. Yeah, it's getting 120 days in confinement.
I get what you're
We
saying.
already went to
He didn't
confinement for
snitch.
the shit. So he already got found guilty along with everybody else that didn't do nothing. What he could have did is been like, nah, this nigga, This nigga, he ain't do nothing. He didn't.
All right, so he did slip the N-word in there. Very interesting. But I want to point out that he is really turned up. I talked about this earlier.
Whoa,
he's
that's
really.
I ain't gonna lie. He said that shit 3 times and I completely missed it. Just simply because I'm trying to understand what he's saying and I forgot who he was.
Right.
A grievance.
This nigga.
I don't think.
This nigga.
So he's not known for saying the N-word.
No. I've never heard him say it, but he definitely made sure. So yeah, he did slip in there.
Snitched. He snitched.
I don't know, dog.
That nigga lost control of all his faculties, nigga. He forgot how to be a white dude on camera in hip hop.
Right, yeah.
He definitely told.
He said he forgot to be warned.
Yeah, so I love. I kind of like this, and I'm interested to see what happens next. Honestly, how he recovers from this.
You see his case though?
I see it because, like, legally, right? Because what I'm thinking is like a grievance is just your word. It's not a statement. You're just saying. You're just telling the judge.
It's filing a complaint, right?
You know what I mean?
Like
it's
if
not,
it's
you're
on
not
paper
talking
somewhere.
If his cellie was trying to molest him and he filed a grievance against him, is that snitching?
Yeah, and that's pussy. Because you should.
Somebody
Somebody should be gone.
Yeah.
Nigga.
There should be one cellie left.
Nigga, your pride
wins
or,
gets the butt.
Yeah, your pride or his fucking life.
Yeah. All right. So now there's
taking
another
the
thing
butt.
that I wanted to. I could have sworn I put this in here. I don't see it though.